students, we are going to discuss about the digestive system. About the digestive system. Digestive system consists of alimentary canal and with the glands. Helps in digestion and the absorption of the food particles, which are enters through the mouth and oral cavity. And now, what about the alimentary canal and with the parts? Alimentary canal is opens to the anterior by the help of the mouth. Anterior opening called mouth. Mouth is a slit-like arrangement now present at the ventral side of the human beings. In this, mouth leads to the opening of the oral cavity. Oral cavity consists of palate, tongue, teeth. Okay, and what about the palate? It is the one of the structure in the oral cavity that divides the nasal chamber with the oral cavity. Okay, this is the palate. Palate separates the nasal cavity from the oral cavity, and the palate that is divides into two parts: anterior hard palate, and anterior hard palate which shows the ridges. Okay, these are called palatine rugae. And helps in capturing of the food particles, capturing of the prey. And another posterior soft palate that hangs down into the pharynx, which is called uvula. Okay, this is posterior soft palate hangs down into the pharynx is called uvula. And another one is the tongue is also present in the oral cavity. This is the tongue is a muscular structure and consists of voluntary muscles, helps in tasting of the food particles and the mastication of the food particles. Okay, helps in speaking. It is also called universal toothbrush. And another one, it is mainly sense organ, detect the taste of the food, and attaches anteriorly. Tongue is free. Posteriorly attaches to the base part in the oral cavity. That is called frenulum. By the help of the frenulum, it is attaches to the base part in the oral cavity. And another tongue, upper surface of the tongue that consists of receptors. These are taste buds, also called receptors, arranged in the form of the papilla. These are called gustatory receptors, taste receptors, also called taste buds. Students, there are four types of the papilla. Fungiform papilla. Fungiform, these are mushroom shaped and present at anterior margin and tip of the tongue. Next, second one is the filiform. These are filament-like structure and present on the surface of tongue. Circumvallate, surrounded with the wall-like structure and present at the base of the tongue. Foliate, leaf-like structures present on the lateral sides of the posterior part of the tongue. These are four types of the papilla. And another, what about the teeth? Teeth are also present in oral cavity. This first, what about the dentition? Dentition means arrangement of the teeth in the oral cavity is called dentition. Okay, students, teeth are ecto and mesodermal in origin. These are originated from ectoderm, mesoderm in the embryonic system. And what about diphyodont dentition? Diphyodont dentition means in mammals teeth are formed in 2 times in life. That is called diphyodont dentition. First set is called milk teeth. Milk teeth. Okay, these are formed in early in life. Okay, called milk teeth or deciduous teeth. And the second set, milk teeth is replaced with another type of the teeth, that is called permanent teeth. Permanent teeth. These are formed laterally in lifetime. Okay, this type of the dentition is called diphyodont dentition. And another one is heterodont dentition. What about the heterodont dentition? Heterodont dentition means total 32 teeth present in the human beings. Okay, these are arranged in 4 types. 4 types, different 4 types. First one is the incisor in front, present in front, and helps in cutting of the food. And canines, these are next to the incisors, present next to the incisors, helps in holding and tearing of the food. And third one is the premolars, fourth one is the molars. Okay, and helps in grinding of the food particles. These 4 types of the teeth present in the human beings is called heterodont dentition. And what about the dental formula? Dental formula means arrangement of number of teeth in each half of both the jaws in order of the incisors, canines, premolars and the molars is called dentition. And this is the dental formula in adult human beings is 2123 by 2123. Another, if you observe in the baby, the dentition is with dental formula is with 2102 by 2102. In total molars, third molar is appeared in late, very late, formed in late. So it is called wisdom teeth. These are called wisdom teeth. And another, this is the diagrammatic representation for LS of the tooth. Okay, and it consists mainly 3 parts: crown and neck, root. Crown is the projected and outward part from the gum. And another one, this is the neck region of the tooth. Okay, and present inside the gum. And root, this is the root. Root is locates in the inner part. It is also fixed in the sockets of the jawbone, alveoli of the jawbone. Okay, students, these are main 3 parts: crown, neck, root. And under, what about the enamel? Enamel, it is the hardest substance in the human beings. And this is covered on the surface of the crown. And enamel, which is secretes from the ameloblast cells. Okay, and under this entire the part of the tooth also consists pulp cavity. This is the pulp cavity. This entire the part is called pulp cavity. Pulp cavity totally filled with the pulp. And pulp cavity also consists different types of the cells: blood vessels, lymph vessels, and the nerves. And these are helps to supplying of the nutritive substances to the tooth. Entire the pulp cavity is surrounded with the substance is called dentin. Dentin is secretes from the odontoblast cells in the human beings. Okay, students, and another This is the fixed part in the sockets of the jawbone and covered with the collagenous fibers and with the layer which is called periodontal membrane. Periodontal membrane. Okay students, this is about the parts of the alimentary canal. There are different parts: mouth, oral cavity with palate, tongue, teeth, and the palate, hard palate and soft palate. Tongue, it is the sense organ and consists of gustatory receptors, taste buds, different types of the taste buds, and in the dentition, in the dentition, diphyodont dentition and heterodont dentition, dental formula. Okay friends, I am going to discuss about parts of the alimentary canal, and in this next one is the pharynx. Pharynx is the common passage for food and the air, and it is divided into nasopharynx, oropharynx, laryngopharynx. Okay, laryngopharynx is associated with the respiratory system. Okay, trachea, you know trachea. Trachea is the windpipe, and it is part of the respiratory system. Trachea is the part of respiratory system, and trachea open into the laryngopharynx through the glottis. It is the glottis is the connecting link between trachea and laryngopharynx. And you know epiglottis. Glottis is covered with the flap, plate-like arrangement, cartilaginous flap. Okay, it prevents the entry of food into the glottis. Epiglottis prevents the entry of food into the glottis at the time of the swallowing or deglutition. Okay students, and wall of the pharynx consists voluntary muscles, and wall of the pharynx also consists lymphoid tissue. There are three types of the lymphoid tissue. One is pharyngeal tonsils. Pharyngeal tonsils may become enlarged in children. These are called adenoids. And another palatine tonsils, one pair in number, and lingual tonsils are also one pair in number. And what do you know about the eustachian tube? Eustachian tube is the connecting link between the cavity of the middle ear with the nasopharynx. Another one, esophagus. Esophagus is the food pipe. It is also called food pipe, and it is located behind the trachea and the heart, and open into the stomach. It is open into the stomach by the help of the cardiac sphincter. It is the diagram region of the stomach, shows regions of the stomach, and it is the cardiac sphincter. It is the esophagus. Esophagus open into the stomach. That is called cardiac sphincter. That is with the sphincter called cardiac sphincter. Cardiac sphincter is also called gastroesophageal sphincter. And esophagus is lined with non-keratinized stratified squamous epithelium. And another one is the stomach. This is the diagram that shows the different regions of the stomach. It is a J-shaped structure, and dilated distensible sac. It is below the diaphragm, locates below the diaphragm, and at the upper left portion of the abdominal cavity, and consists three portions. This is the cardiac portion, this is the cardiac portion, and fundus portion. It is the largest or main body, and last one is the pyloric portion. Okay, this is the pyloric portion is open into the first part of the small intestine, which is called duodenum by the help of the sphincter. It is the sphincter, opening is also with the sphincter. This is the sphincter is called pyloric sphincter. Okay students, this is the cardiac sphincter, this is the pyloric sphincter. Cardiac sphincter, pyloric sphincter. Next, under inner surface of the stomach also have longitudinal folds. These are called rugae, stomach rugae. And small intestine. Small intestine is the longest part in the alimentary canal, 5 to 7 meters in long, and divided into three parts: duodenum and jejunum and the ileum. Okay, what about the duodenum? Duodenum is the C-shaped structure. It is the first part. Okay, duodenum is connects with the liver and the pancreas by the help of the hepatopancreatic duct. And jejunum, it is a long coiled structure. Ileum, highly coiled structure. Okay, students. Next, another ileum, last part, open into the large intestine with a valve called ileocecal valve, and also with a sphincter, ileocecal sphincter. This is the cardiac sphincter, this is the pyloric sphincter, this is another one of the sphincter, ileocecal sphincter. Next, another one is the large intestine. What about the large intestine? Large intestine is divided into three parts. First part is called cecum, colon and rectum. And cecum. Cecum is the small sac-like structure, and it arises blind tube-like structure which is called lymphoid tissue or vermiform appendix. It is the vestigial organ. It is the vestigial organ. Okay, students. And another one, cecum is also place for many symbiotic microorganisms. Another one is the colon. Colon divides into four parts. Four parts of the colon are: first one, this is the ascending part, and this one is the transverse part, and this is the descending part. Another last part is sigmoid colon. Sigmoid colon open into the rectum. Okay, rectum finally open into the anus. Okay, students, in this large intestine, there is no digestive activity in the large intestine. It helps in the absorption of the water and some amount of the drugs. Okay, and wall of the large intestine secretes mucus. It helps in there and lubricating the passage of the undigested food particle or the fecal matter to the anal aperture, to the anus. Okay, students, and large intestine shows small pouches like arrangement in the inner surface called astra, and also having longitudinal smooth muscle structures. These are called tinea coli. Okay, and finally the rectum is open into the anus. Anus opens outside by the help of the two sphincters called internal anal sphincter, and the one is external anal sphincter. Internal anal sphincter consists of smooth muscles. External anal sphincter that consists of voluntary muscles. Okay, students, this is an account on the parts of alimentary canal. Okay, students, now going to discuss about histology of alimentary canal. Histology means study about the tissues. Okay, and histology of the alimentary canal, if you observe the transverse section of the alimentary canal in the mammals, transverse section of the wall of the alimentary canal in the mammals, that shows the four layers. What are the four layers present in the wall of the alimentary canal? In this, first one is the serosa, second one is Muscularis Externa, third one is Submucosa, fourth one is Mucosa, from the outside to inside. And in this, first one is serosa. Serosa, it is made up by mesothelium. Mesothelium, it is produced from the mesoderm in the embryonic stage. And also it is with the connective tissue. It is the outermost layer. And the second one is Muscularis Externa. Muscularis Externa, it consists of two layers. In this outer longitudinal muscle layer, this is outer longitudinal muscle layer, and the inner circular muscle. This is the inner circular muscle. Okay, students, and also these are Muscularis Externa, which consist of muscles. These are smooth muscles, involuntary muscles, and oblique muscles also present in stomach. Oblique muscles also present in the stomach region. Okay, next third one is submucosa. What about the submucosa? This is the region is submucosa. Okay, students, this is the region is submucosa. And in this submucosa, it is with loose connective tissue present in submucosa, and also nerves and the blood vessels, arteries and veins. Now, if you observe the submucosa of the duodenum is the first part of the small intestine, C-shaped structures, and it is also connected with the pancreas and the liver by hepatopancreatic duct. If you observe submucosa of the duodenum, it has Brunner glands, consists of Brunner glands. Brunner glands secretes mucus. Okay, students, now enter into the fourth layer, innermost layer it is, that is mucosa. Mucosa, it is the inner layer, and if you observe the stomach region, inner layer of the stomach, mucosa layer of the stomach, and forms the longitudinal folds. These are called gastric rugae. And in the small intestine, this is the inner layer, mucosa layer, that forms the small finger-like structures, projections, which are called villi. These are called villi. Okay, and villi are entered into the lumen of the small intestine. And another one, these are the villi lined with the columnar epithelial cells. Columnar epithelial cells present in villi produces microscopic projections. These are the microscopic projections are called microvilli. Students, microvilli shows the brush border appearance in the region of small intestine. And if you observe each villus consists of blood capillaries, and one of the largest lymph capillary, that is called lacteal. Each villus that consists of blood capillaries, and also largest lymph capillary, that is called lacteal. Okay, students, and mucosa epithelium, the innermost layer, which is called mucosa. The layer shows the mucosa epithelium. Mucosa epithelium has goblet cells in some regions. In some region of the mucosa epithelium also consist of goblet cells. The cells present in the mucosa epithelium modified into goblet cells. These are the goblet cells secretes mucus. And under mucosa forms glands in some regions of the alimentary canal. Mucosa of the stomach forms the gastric glands in the stomach, which secretes the gastric juice. And another mucosa of the small intestine. If you observe villi, at the base part of the villi, that shows the crypts of the liver cones. Okay, mucosa in the small intestine, that shows the villi, and if you observe the base of the villi, that shows the crypts of the liver cone. Crypts of the liver cone is also considered as intestinal glands which secretes intestinal juice into the lumen of the small intestine. Okay students, this is about the histology of the alimentary canal. The wall from the outside to inside consists of 4 layers. First one is serosa, second one is muscularis externa, third one is submucosa, and fourth one is the mucosa. Mucosa shows the villi and the microvilli, and mucosa of the region in the alimentary canal that goes to the formation of the modification of the gastric glands and intestinal glands. Okay students? Okay students, I am going to discuss about digestive glands. Digestive glands locates at the different parts of the alimentary canal, helps in the digestion of the food particles. Digestive glands secretes juice. Some amount of the secretions helps in the digestion of the food particles, and includes with salivary glands, gastric glands, intestinal glands, and also associated with liver and the pancreas. In this, first one is salivary glands. Salivary glands in the human beings, these are 3 paired in number. Okay, and first one is parotid glands. Parotid glands are largest salivary glands present below the pinna. Pinna means outer ear, external ear. Okay, below the pinna. These are located below the pinna. Next, submandibular glands, also called submaxillary glands. These are the glands present at the angle of the lower jaw. And third pair is sublingual glands. Sublingual glands, these are smallest glands and present below the tongue. Okay, and salivary glands consist of serous cells and the mucous cells, and which secretes the saliva. Salivary glands consist of serous cells, mucous cells, secretes saliva. And saliva consists of water, salts, mucin, ptyalin, or salivary amylase or alpha amylase enzyme, and also with a small quantity of the lysozyme enzyme which kills the microorganisms present in the food, okay, in oral cavity. This is about the salivary glands. Next, another one is the gastric glands. Gastric glands is present in the wall of the stomach and formed by epithelium in the wall of the stomach. Okay, next 3 types of the gastric glands are there in the stomach wall. This first one is the cardiac glands. Cardiac glands secretes mucus. Cardiac glands secretes mucus. What is the role of the mucus? Mucus lines the inner surface of the intestine, and it reduces the inflammation from microorganisms. And pyloric glands also secretes mucus and also secretes gastrin hormone. Gastrin hormone stimulates the release of the gastric acid. Okay students, it is about the gastrin hormone. And fundic glands also called oxyntic glands. Fundic glands consist of 3 types of the cells. What are the 3 types of the cells? First one is the neck cells. Neck cells secretes mucus. And another one of the cell, peptic cells. Peptic cells are also called chief cells. Peptic cells, chief cells secretes proenzymes. Proenzymes are pepsinogen and prorenin. These are called proenzymes. And lipase enzyme, it is the lipase enzyme secretes by gastric glands, hence called gastric lipase. And under oxyntic cells also called parietal cells. Oxyntic cells are parietal cells which secretes HCl, hydrochloric acid. hydrochloric acid helps in destruction of the microorganisms, enters into the mouth, and also helps in breakdown of the protein molecules. And causes intrinsic factor. Causes intrinsic factor helps in absorption of the vitamin B12. Okay, this is about the gastric glands. Next, another one is the intestinal glands. Intestinal glands are two types. Okay, these are also formed by epithelium in the small intestine, and two types. First one is the crypts of the labor cone. What about the crypts of the labor cone? Okay, already you know about the villi. Okay, between the base of the villi there is a crypts of the labor cone. Crypts of the labor cone secretes intestinal juice, also called succus centricus. Intestinal juice, also called succus centricus. Intestinal juice consists peptidases. These are tripeptidases, dipeptidases, aminopeptidases, and disaccharides also present. These are maltase, sucrase, lactase. These are disaccharidases, and intestinal lipase. Okay, students, intestinal lipase is also present, and also one of the activator enzyme, that is enterokinase. These are present in the intestinal juice, which is secreted by crypts of the labor cone. Next, Brunner glands. Another one is the Brunner glands. It is one type of the intestinal glands. These are present at the region of the duodenum. Okay, students, and duodenum part of the small intestine consists of Brunner glands, locates in the submucosa. Okay, already you know about the mucosa and submucosa. Okay, next secretes, Brunner glands secretes mucus. Okay, next what is the role of the Paneth cells? Paneth cells, bases of the intestinal glands, bases of the intestinal glands, lined with another type of the cells called Paneth cells. These are the Paneth cells secretes lysozyme enzyme. Okay, students, this is about the different types of the digestive glands, salivary glands and the gastric glands. Another one is the intestinal glands. Now discuss about the liver in the human beings. Liver is the largest gland in the human body. Okay, students, and it is situated in the upper right abdominal cavity, right side upper abdominal cavity, and this is the liver is weighing about 1.5 kg in human beings, and liver, it is consists two lobes. Liver consists two lobes. This is the left lobe, this is the right lobe, and these two lobes are connected with falciform ligament. Okay, students, next, if you observe, each one of the lobe is covered with liver lobe covered with the thin connective tissue sheath, which is called Glissen's capsule. Okay, students, that is called Glissen's capsule. Glissen's capsule. Each lobe covered with the thin connective tissue sheath is called Glissen capsule. Okay, students, next, another liver consists of two hepatic lobes, and each one of the lobe consists more number of the hepatic lobules. These are the hepatic lobules are structural and functional units of the liver. Okay, and another hepatic lobules. These are the hepatic lobules are arranged in the form of the hexagonal structures. Okay, next, another, each one of the hepatic lobules are consist of hepatic cells. These hepatic cells are arranged in the form of the hepatic cords. Hepatic cords. Cords means straight line like arrangement. Okay, hepatic cells are arranged in form of the hepatic cords. And under hepatic cells, the main function of the hepatic cells Hepatic cells is secretion of the bile secretion. And hepatic cells are open into the hepatic duct. Hepatic duct is open into the gallbladder. And gallbladder leads to the opening of the pancreatic duct and forms the hepatopancreatic duct. Hepatopancreatic duct forms the ampulla of the Vetter, and ampulla of Vetter is open into the U-shaped duodenum. It is the first part of the small intestine, that is called U-shaped, open into the U-shaped duodenum. That is the opening consists one of the sphincter, that is called sphincter of Woody. It is the left lobe. Left lobe is with the left hepatic duct, and it is the right lobe. Right lobe forms the right hepatic duct, and both of the duct forms the one of the hepatic duct. Okay, students, and hepatic duct is open into the gallbladder. Okay, this is the gallbladder, small sac-like arrangement, and bile juice is concentrated and stored in the gallbladder, and by the help of the cystic duct, both are combined, hepatic duct and the cystic duct from the gallbladder, both are combined and forms the common bile duct. That is, the common bile duct is combines with the pancreatic duct, came from the pancreas. Okay, students, and common bile duct and the pancreatic duct both are combined and forms the hepatopancreatic duct. Hepatopancreatic duct forms the ampulla of Vetter. Ampulla of Vetter open into the duodenum by the help of the one of the sphincter, that is called sphincter of the Woody. And another, students, this is about the diagrammatic representation of the pancreas and the liver, and also with the associated structures which are duodenum and the gallbladder. Okay, and another, what about the functions of the liver? Okay, liver performs different types of the functions. In this first one, liver is it secretes bile. Bile secretion is the main function of the liver, that consists of bile salts and the bile pigment. Okay, these are the bile salts are sodium and the potassium, taurocolates and glycocolates, which are helps in the digestion of the fats, emulsification of the fats. And bile pigments, what about the role of the bile pigments? These are formed by the destruction of the hemoglobin of worn out RBC. Okay, another, this is the bile is finally entered into the U-shaped duodenum, lumen of the duodenum. And another, sugar molecules, for example glucose is converted into the glycogen. And this is the process is called glycogenesis, and glycogen is converted into glucose. This is called glycogenolysis. These two processes, carbohydrate metabolic reactions occurs in the liver, and also helps in the detoxification of the toxic substances. Any amount of the toxic substances present in the body, these are detoxified by the liver. And another, Kupffer cells also present in the liver. Kupffer cells, these are the Kupffer cells act as a hepatic macrophages. Why these are called hepatic macrophages? These engulf the microorganisms. Okay, another substances, bacteria, virus, like that. These are called phagocytic cells, or also called hepatic macrophages, Kupffer cells. And another, this is a hemopoietic organ in the fetus. at the development of the fetus in the mother's womb, this is act as a hematopoietic organ. At that time it secretes red blood cells. And erythroclastic organ. What is the meaning of the erythroclastic organ? It is helps in the destruction of the RBC in the adults. Okay, along with the spleen. So it is called erythroclastic organ. Next, another this is also secretes heparin. Heparin acts as an anticoagulant. It helps in prevention of the clotting of the blood in the blood vessels. Heparin is anticoagulant and helps in synthesis of the urea, synthesize urea for excretion, deamination of the excess amino acids occurs in the liver cells, and finally forms the ammonia. The amount of the ammonia finally forms into the urea by the help of the ornithine cycle, which is also occurs in the liver cells. Finally, that amount of the urea is transferred into the kidneys for the elimination. And another cholesterol synthesis. Liver also synthesizes cholesterol. Cholesterol helps in the formation of the synthesis of the different types of hormones and the vitamin D. Okay, and this is also produces triglycerides. Triglycerides are the one type of the lipids. And another lactic acid. Lactic acid is produced by anaerobic muscle contractions in the muscle cells. The amount of the lactic acid is passes into the liver by the blood circulation, and in the liver amount of the lactic acid is converted into the glucose molecules again via the pyruvates. Okay, that is called Cori cycle. Okay, and liver performs and liver acts on the lactic acid and converts into the glucose molecules. Okay, that is called Cori cycle. And another, liver also helps in the synthesis of plasma proteins, which are act as plasma proteins. Albumins and the globulins are the plasma proteins, and also forms the blood clotting factors such as fibrinogen and the prothrombin. Liver is also act as a thermoregulatory organ because by the storage of the glucose molecules in the form of glycogen. Okay. And another, what about the pancreas? Pancreas is the second largest gland in the body of human beings. This is also called heterocrine gland, and another, it is also called sweet gland. Okay, and this consists of two types of the parts. Liver is located between the space of the duodenum, U-shaped duodenum. Okay, between the limbs of the duodenum. Okay, exocrine part, endocrine part consist in the liver. Endocrine part of the pancreas secretes two types of the hormones. So these are insulin and the glucagon. Another, exocrine part that consists of pancreatic acini. This is the pancreatic acini secretes pancreatic juice. Pancreatic juice helps in the digestion of the food particles. This consists of sodium bicarbonate and trypsinogen and chymotrypsinogen, carboxypeptidase, lipase, amylase, nuclease, lipase, it is called pancreatic lipase, amylase, it is called pancreatic amylase, nuclease, these are DNase and RNase. Okay students, this is about the two types of the glands, digestive glands, about the liver, and the next one is the pancreas. Okay students, physiology of digestion. Okay, today's topic is physiology of digestion. What about the physiology of digestion? Digestion means food particles are enters into the oral cavity. These are non-diffusible forms, complex molecule structures. These are converted into simple absorbable diffusible substances through the intestine wall. That is called digestion. Physiology of the digestion is starts in the oral cavity. When the food is enters into the oral cavity by the help of the tongue and the teeth, food is goes to the mastication and adhering the food particles, okay, and converted into bolus type of the food. After digestion is completed in the oral cavity, food is entered into the esophagus by the swallowing. Process of the swallowing is called deglutition. Process of the swallowing is called into the esophagus is called deglutition. And the food entered into the oral cavity, salivary glands secretes saliva. Salivary glands consist of mucous cells and the serous cells which secretes saliva. pH of the saliva is 6.8. And in this mucus present in the saliva helps in adhering and lubricating the food particles. That is called bolus. And under saliva consists of electrolytes, sodium, potassium, and bicarbonates. And under one of the enzyme, this is the salivary amylase, alpha amylase, also called ptyalin. And another one of the enzyme is also present in the saliva, that is called lysozyme. Lysozyme helps in killing of the microorganisms in the food. Now, chemical digestion is starts in the oral cavity by the help of the salivary amylase, that is called ptyalin, also called ptyalin. By the help of the ptyalin, 30% of the starch present in the food, not entirely carbohydrates are goes to the digestion. Only 30% of the starch goes to digestion and converts into maltose. Maltose is the disaccharide. And after the digestion, chemical digestion means process of the digestion is by the enzymatic process, by the enzymes. Okay, that is called chemical digestion. And now food is entered into the stomach through the help of the gastroesophageal sphincter, cardiac sphincter. This stomach food stores for 3 to 4 hours. Food is stored for 3 to 4 hours, and when the food is entered into the stomach is mixed with the gastric juice. Mucosa epithelium consists of gastric glands. Stomach inner surface, mucosa epithelium that consists of gastric glands. Gastric glands secretes gastric juice. Okay, this is the gastric juice. When the food is entered into the stomach region, stomach wall shows the forcible movement. These are called churning movements. By the help of the churning movement, food is mixed with the gastric juice. and converts into the semi-fluid structure that is called chyme. That is called chyme. Bolus type of the food formed in the oral cavity, chyme formed in the stomach, region of the stomach. And gastric juice acts on the food present in the stomach. And gastric juice consists of different types of the substances in this mucus. What is the role of the mucus? Mucus prevents the inner surface of the stomach, mucosa epithelium, from the highly concentrated hydrochloric acid, and helps in lubricating the food particles. And bicarbonates decreases the acidity of the food, decreases the acidity of the hydrochloric acid. Okay, acidity nature of the food is decreases by the bicarbonates. And HCl helps in killing of the microorganisms present in the food, and HCl activates the enzymes, which helps in breakdown of the proteins. And Causil's intrinsic factor helps in absorption of the vitamin B12, also called cyanocobalamin. And casein is the one of the milk protein. Casein is the milk protein. And what do you know about the pyloric sphincter? Pyloric sphincter is present between the stomach and the first part of the small intestine is called duodenum. After the digestion is completed in the stomach, food is entered into the small intestine by the help of the pyloric sphincter. And what about the renin? Renin is the one of the enzyme. Renin is the enzyme. This is the enzyme present in the gastric juice of the infants. Okay, students. Now goes to the digestion in the stomach region. Prorenin, it is present in the gastric juice. Okay, that is converts into the renin by HCl. And pepsinogen converts into the pepsin by the action of the HCl. And this is the pepsinogen is also goes to the autocatalysis when pepsin is formed. Pepsin is converted into the pepsin, that is called autocatalysis. Okay, pepsin activates the formation of the pepsin from the pepsinogen. And the protein, this is the pepsin forms. This is the pepsin acts on the proteins present in the stomach and converts into proteoses and the peptones. And casein is the milk protein, and renin is the enzyme. Renin enzyme acts on the casein and converts into calcium paracasinate. Curdling of the milk is called calcium paracasinate. Curdling of the milk in the stomach. After the digestion is completed, partial digestion is completed in casein protein converts into calcium paracasinate. This is available in the form of the curdling of milk in the stomach. And calcium paracasinate and goes to the digestion by the help of the pepsin and finally converts into peptones. Okay, students. Another these are the proteoses and the peptones are end products of the proteins which occurs in the stomach. Only protein digestion takes place in the stomach. Partial digestion of the carbohydrates is completed in the oral cavity. Finally, maltose produces. And protein digestion is completed completed in the stomach and finally forms proteoses and the peptones. Proteoses are most complex than the peptones. Okay, these are the proteoses. Peptones are not end products of the proteins after the digestion. These are again goes to the digestion in the region of the small intestine and finally converts into the amino acids. Okay students, and this is about the physiology of digestion in the oral cavity and the stomach. Students, next topic is digestion in the small intestine. Digestion in small intestine, and food is digestion in the stomach, and chyme form of the food is entered into the lumen of the small intestine, first part of the small intestine, which is called duodenum. In the duodenum, into the duodenum, food is entered with the help of the Pythoric Sphincter, and food is mixed with the chyme form of the food is mixed with the three types of the juices. These are intestinal juice, pancreatic juice, and the bile juice. And food is passes through the lumen of the small intestine, and because of the presentation of the peristaltic movements by the wall of the small intestine, food is mixed. Muscularis Externa shows the movement, and at that time food is mixed with the three types of the juices. Now in the juices which is helpful for the digestion of the different particles consist of bicarbonates. What is the function of the bicarbonates? Bicarbonates present in the pancreatic juice provides the alkaline medium for the action of the enzymes. And duodenal cells also produces bicarbonates. These are the bicarbonates neutralizes the gastric acid, and it decreases the activity of the gastric acid. And what about the digestion of the proteins in the small intestine? Okay, amount of the protein digestion occurs in the stomach region by the help of the pepsin and converts into proteoses and the peptones. Complete digestion occurs in the region of the small intestine. Okay, enterokinase is the one of the activator enzyme. Enterokinase and produces by the intestinal mucosa. Enterokinase produces by intestinal mucosa. This is the enterokinase acts on the trypsinogen and converts into trypsin. Okay, enterokinase is the activator enzyme. Next, by the process of the autocatalysis, trypsinogen is also converts into trypsin. Trypsin acts on the trypsinogen and converts into trypsin. In this way, trypsinogen is converts into trypsin. Chymotrypsinogen is also present in the pancreatic juice, that is converts into chymotrypsin by the action of the trypsin. Okay students, now chyme is with the proteins and proteoses and goes to the digestion by the help of the proteolytic enzymes, which are acting as a proteolytic enzymes. These are trypsin, chymotrypsin, carboxypeptidase, aminopeptidase. Carboxypeptidase present in pancreatic juice. Okay students, these are the enzymes acts on the proteins, peptones, proteoses and converts into tripeptides and the dipeptides. Now, tripeptidase is the enzyme acts on the tripeptides and converts into dipeptides. Dipeptidase is the enzyme is present in the intestinal juice and acts on the dipeptides and finally converts into amino acids. Finally, proteins are converted into the amino acids. These are end products of the proteins. And under digestion of the fats, what about the digestion of the fats? This bile is secretes from the liver and reaches into the first part of the small intestine, that is called duodenum. And this is the bile juice combines with the food particles. Any amount of the fats present in the partially digested food and goes to the emulsification. Emulsification of the fats is occurs due to the bile salts, action of the bile salts. Bile salts are sodium and potassium, taurocolates, glycocolates of sodium and potassium, taurocolates of sodium, potassium. And emulsified fats are converted into diglycerides by the action of the lipase. Intestinal juice present with the lipase, and lipase also present in the pancreatic juice. Pancreatic lipase is also called steatocin. Now, lipase acts on the diglycerides and converts into monoglycerides. Lipase acts on the monoglycerides and finally converts into fatty acids and glycerol. Students, these are end products of the fats, digestion of fats. Next, another, what about digestion of the carbohydrates? Carbohydrates digestion. Okay, partial digestion is completed in the oral cavity. 30% of the starch by the action of the amylase enzyme or ptyalin and converts into maltose, which is disaccharide. And entire carbohydrates goes to the action by the amylase, which is present in the pancreatic juice, converts into disaccharides, maltose, sucrose, lactose. Okay, students, and disaccharides, these are the maltase, sucrase, lactase present in the intestinal juice, goes to the action on these disaccharides and converts into glucose, fructose, galactose. Okay, maltose formed with two glucose molecules, sucrose is with the glucose and the fructose, and lactose is with the glucose and the galactose. Finally, carbohydrates are converted into glucose, fructose and the galactose. Next, what about digestion of the nucleic acids? Nucleic acid also present in the food. Okay, these are nucleic acids are DNA and RNA. Nuclease enzyme present in the pancreatic juice goes to action on the DNA and RNA. Nucleic acid converts into nucleotides. And nucleotidase is present in nucleotidase and nucleosidase present in the intestinal juice. Nucleotidase acts on the nucleotides, converts into nucleosides and phosphates. Another nucleosides goes to the digestion by the action of the nucleosidase and finally converts into sugars and the bases. Sugars and the bases are the end products after the digestion on the nucleic acids. And digestion of carbohydrates and finally converts into simple sugars, glucose, fructose and galactose. And proteins goes to the digestion and finally converts into amino acids. These are amino acids, glucose, fructose, galactose and the fatty acids, glycerol and sugars, nitrogen bases are end products after the physiology of digestion. Okay students, now going to discuss about absorption of the food. Food particles goes to the digestion and converted into simple absorbable substances. Okay, these are simple absorbable substances, molecules are absorbed into the cells of the intestine. Okay, this is called absorption of the food particles. Okay, and these are the food particles. Food particles firstly entered into the cells present in intestinal mucosa. From the intestinal mucosa, these are entered into blood and the lymph, which are termed with body fluids. Okay, already you know about the food particles. Food particles are carbohydrates, proteins and the lipids. Carbohydrates are, after the digestion, these are changes into simple substance, simple molecules, which are called glucose, fructose and the galactose. Another proteins. Proteins, after the digestion, these are changes into amino acids and lipids. Finally, these are the lipids are converted into fatty acids and the glycerol. Okay students, now these are the food particles are absorbed by active transport mechanism and facilitated diffusion, and the another one is passive transport also. Passive transport also. Okay. First, if you observe about the absorption of the carbohydrate materials, glucose and the galactose. Glucose, galactose. These are absorbed by the active transport. What is the meaning of the active transport? Active transport means movement of the molecules from low concentration to the high concentration. Okay, with the help of the utilizing energy is called active transport. By the active transport, glucose, galactose absorbs into the cells of the intestine. Next, fructose. What about the fructose? Fructose is absorbed by facilitated diffusion. What about the facilitated diffusion? Facilitated diffusion is the one type of the passive transport. Okay, in this type, in this facilitated diffusion, movement of the molecules from high concentration to the low concentration, okay, by the help of the carrier protein, by the help of the transport protein is called facilitated diffusion. It is one type of the passive transport. Next, amino acids. Proteins are converted into amino acids. Okay, protein digestion starts in the stomach, region of the stomach, and amino acids are transported, absorbed by active transport mechanism. Active transport means this is the process which utilizes the energy, ATP energy. Okay, and another. What about the lipids? Lipids, absorption of the lipids. These are the lipids are absorbed into intestinal mucosa. Intestinal mucosa. Lipids are converted into small droplet-like structures. Small round droplet-like structures. These are called micilli. These are called micilli. And by the process of the diffusion, these are micilli entered into the intestinal mucosa. Intestinal mucosa means cells of the intestine mucosa. Okay, intestinal mucosa. And in the intestinal mucosa, these are the micilli are changes into protein coated structures, small protein coated structures. These are called chylomicrons. These are called chylomicrons. And these are chylomicrons also called triglycerides. Triglycerides. These are the chylomicrons are absorbed into the lacteals. Already you know lacteal. Lacteal in the villi, each one of the villi shows the large lymphatic capillary, that is called villi. Lacteals, okay, These are called lacteals. Okay, chylomicrons entered into the lacteals. Lacteal means largest lymph capillary present in the villi of small intestine, called lacteal. These are the chylomicrons, protein coated structures called chylomicrons, also called triglycerides, enters into the lacteals of the villi. Okay students, and from the lacteals these are entered into, chylomicrons are entered into lymph vessels. From there reaches into the lymphatic ducts. Okay, and one of the enzyme secretes by the endothelial cells of the vessels. This is called lipoprotein lipase. Lipoprotein lipase acts on the chylomicrons and break down into the fatty acids and the glycerol. These are the final products of the fatty acids and the glycerol entered into the cells of the adipose tissue and the liver for storage. Okay, this is about the absorption of the lipids. And what about the chyle? You know about the chyle. Chyle means this is the emulsion of the lymph and the chylomicrons in the lymph vessels is called chyle. Okay, this is the white fluid like structure. It is the emulsion of the lymph and the chylomicrons, that is called chyle, present in the lacteal is called chyle. Okay students, next another, water is absorbed based on the osmotic gradient, and vitamins are absorbed by simple diffusion process, and vitamin B12 is absorbed by the help of the causal intrinsic factor, which is present in the gastric juice. Okay, next another, these are the different types of the simple absorbable substances and formed after the digestion of the food particles. Carbohydrates converts into glucose, galactose and fructose, and amino acids. Amino acids are formed by proteins, and lipids finally converted into fatty acids and the glycerol. Next, under, what about the absorption of the different regions of alimentary canal? This oral cavity absorbs certain drugs, and stomach, water, sugar, alcohol, drugs absorbs, and large intestine absorbs water, minerals and the drugs. Okay students, most digestion occurs in the region of the small intestine, and small intestine is also helps in absorption of the digested food particles. Okay. Next, any other undigested particles, unabsorbed particles, substances present in the large intestine, these are moved into the rectum. Okay. Another, what about the peristalsis? Peristalsis means this is the contraction and relaxation of the smooth muscle. Okay, these are the peristalsis, means these are wave like movements possible by the contraction and the relaxation of the alimentary canal between the region of the esophagus to the rectum, that shows the wave like movement, which are called peristaltic movement. Peristaltic movements helps in passage of the food particles and othering, lubricating the food particles, and also helps in mixing with the different types of the digestive juices. Okay, and The region of the stomach shows the forcible fastest peristaltic movement, which are called churning movements. Churning movements, and a small peristaltic movement is shown by the small intestine. Okay, students, and stimulations also came from the parasympathetic nervous system. Parasympathetic nervous system, that one is stimulates, and signals came from the parasympathetic nervous system. It increases the peristaltic movement, and relaxes the sphincter muscle. Sphincter muscle means that is the smooth muscle. Relaxes the sphincters. Okay, causes the relaxation of the smooth muscles present in the sphincters. Different types of the sphincters like pyloric sphincter, cardiac sphincter. And what about assimilation? Assimilation means this is the process absorption of the food particles into the cell. In the cytoplasm of the cell, these are food particles helps in production of the energy. These are absorbed food particles or helps in production of the energy and growth, repair of the animal. That is called assimilation. Okay, students. Next, defecation. What about the defecation? Defecation means unabsorbed substances. Okay, undigested substances from the large intestine entered into the rectum, passes into the rectum, and rectum that consists lubricates and other the unabsorbed fibrous containing material, which is called roughage, and finally passes into the anus. By the help of the anal aperture, these are expelled to the outside, which is called defecation. Okay, students, this is an account on the absorption of the different types of the food particles: glucose, galactose, and the fructose, and amino acids. Okay, students, next fatty acids and the glycerol, water, vitamins, vitamin B12. Okay, glucose, galactose by the active transport, fructose by the facilitated diffusion, amino acids by active transport. Okay, water by osmotic gradient, vitamin by simple diffusion process. Okay, this is about the absorption of the food particles, digested food particles. Okay, students, now discuss about gastrointestinal hormones. These are the hormones releases in little amount. Okay, to increases the activity of the digestion, regulate the digestion of the food particles. Okay, and to regulate the secretions of the digestive juices. These are the hormones called local hormones, because these are the hormones secreted from one of the region and also activated, regulate the functions at the same region beside the regions. Okay, these are the gastrointestinal hormones secretions, also regulated by nervous system, moderated by nervous system. Okay, nervous system send signals to secrete some amount of the hormones from the regions of the gastrointestinal part. Another alimentary canal is also shows peristaltic movement. Peristaltic movement is also regulated by nervous system. Okay, students, now about the gastrointestinal hormones. So these are also called local hormones. In this, first one is gastrin. What about the gastrin? Gastrin is secretes from epithelium of stomach. epithelium of stomach. Stimulates secretions of hydrochloric acid and pepsinogen in the gastric juice. Presentation, the level of the hydrochloric acid and the pepsinogen in the gastric juice is stimulated by gastrin hormone. Okay students, another one is enterogastrone. What about the enterogastrone? Enterogastrone is also called gastric inhibitory peptide. This is secretes from epithelium of duodenum. And epithelium of duodenum means the mucosa epithelium present in the duodenum secretes enterogastrone. What is the function of this enterogastrone? It inhibits the gastric acidity. Level of presentation, the level of the HCl in the gastric juice is decreases by this hormone. And third one is secretin. Secretin is secretes from epithelium of the duodenum. Duodenum is the first part of small intestine and acts on pancreatic acini present in the pancreas and to secretes water and bicarbonates. Okay, these are the bicarbonate decreases the acidity of the gastric juice. Okay, and another cholecystokinin. Another one is cholecystokinin. What about the cholecystokinin? It is also called pancreogymin. This is the cholecystokinin is secretes from epithelium of duodenum and acts on the pancreas and the gallbladder. To secrete pancreatic juice and at the same time bile juice from the gallbladder. To stimulate contraction of thin wall of gallbladder to secrete the bile juice through the hepatopancreatic duct into the lumen of the duodenum. And another enterocrinin is secretes from duodenal mucosa and stimulates the secretions of intestinal juice. Intestinal juice also called succus entericus. It consists of different types of the enzymes which is helpful in digestion of the food. And villi-kinin. What about the villi-kinin? Villi-kinin is secretes from the villi. Villi are the folds, small finger-like folds in the inner surface of the small intestine. Okay, mucosa appeared in the form of the folding of small finger-like structures. These are called villi. Villi stimulates the movement of the villi-kinin stimulates the movement of the villi to increases the absorption of the digestive food into the mucosa epithelium and then entered into the blood. And another disorders of digestive system. Okay students, in this disorders of digestive system and so many types of the disorders causes the intestinal inflammation and these are the disorders. Inflammation is caused by bacteria and the viruses. Okay, many parasites also causes the different types of the disorders of gastrointestinal tract. Disorders of digestive system mainly, first one is jaundice. What about the jaundice? It is occurs due to the abnormal function of the liver, and excess amount of the bile pigments, mainly bilirubin, secretes from the liver, enters into the blood, and anorexia is the main symptom in this disorder. Anorexia means loss of appetite. Anorexia means loss of appetite, and it is the main symptom in jaundice. And skin and the white part of the eyeball is turned to yellow because of excessive deposition of the bile pigments in these regions. And another second one is the vomiting. What about the vomiting? Ejection of the stomach content present in the stomach throughout by the mouth, it is called vomiting. And it is the entire reflex action, also regulates by one of the center, vomiting center. This is the vomiting center is present in the medulla oblongata. Medulla oblongata is the part of the hindbrain. Okay, medulla oblongata consists of vomiting center, and it is regulates the action of the vomiting. And this is also occurs due to the gastric inflammation. Part of the small intestine, part of the stomach, mainly stomach, part of the stomach inflamed, that leads to the occurrence of vomiting. Overeating has also one of the cause, and cholecystis. Cholecystis means inflammation of the gallbladder. Okay, that is also one of the cause for vomiting. And food poisoning and hepatitis. And another one is diarrhea. What is the meaning of the diarrhea? Diarrhea means abnormal frequency of bowel movement. Bowel means the part below the stomach. For example, large intestine, small intestine. That is called bowel. Abnormal frequency of the bowel movement that leads to diarrhea. Okay, increase liquidity of the fecal discharge. Increases liquidity of fecal discharge, and reduces the absorption of the food. Okay, it is also one of the symptoms, and this results in loss of water in the body, leads to dehydration. Okay, increases the liquidity of the fecal discharge, that is results in loss of water in the body, that causes dehydration. And under constipation, what about the constipation? Constipation means feces retained within the rectum. Feces retained within the rectum. Okay, these are feces means undigested food particles, which consist excess amount of the fiber content is more. Okay, these are actually expelled to the outside through the anus. Okay, but it is retained within the rectum. Feces retained within the rectum due to low content of the water and the roughage in the daily diet. Roughage means fiber content. And another indigestion. What about the indigestion? Indigestion means food is not properly digested. And leads to feeling of fullness. And another causes for this disorder is spicy foods. Okay, and overeating and anxiety. Anxiety means mental tension. Okay, uneasiness. These are some amount of the causes. These are the disorders: jaundice, vomiting, diarrhea, constipation, and indigestion. Okay, students. Next, another. What about the content present in the daily food? Mainly in the form of the macromolecules, complex form. These are carbohydrates, proteins, and the fats. After these are converted after the digestion, these are converted into simple absorbable substances. Okay, and in this carbohydrates converts into simple sugars, proteins digested into amino acids, and fats digested into fatty acids and glycerol. In this, one oxidation of the 1 gram carbohydrates yields 4 kilocalories energy, and proteins also give same amount of the energy. 1 gram oxidation of the 1 gram protein yields 4 kilocalories energy, same to the carbohydrates, and another oxidation of the 1 gram fat yields 9 kilocalories energy. 9 kilocalories energy. Okay, students. Next, these are about the gastrointestinal hormones. These are gastric, enterogastrin, secretin, cholecystokinin, enterokinin, and the villikinin. These are the hormones and their actions. Gastrointestinal hormones.